Pitch to check on him, see how he's doing. They said they came in, topped him off on gas, and he got a banana trying to get some potassium in Robbie Gordon.
There you go. This the old brown truck. She's very dependable.
127 laps. About 200 miles left to go.
We've had 3 lead lap cars come in and top off. Kyle Petty in the 45 just topped off, along as we heard mentioned, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Bill Elliott. They just called to restart off with 1 to go. What these guys are doing, you're talking about figuring mileage. Some guys want to see more caution laps because you use less fuel. It's almost like 2 caution laps equal 1 green lap. But if you're like the 15 car, you want to go racing because you can make it.
That's right.
The Coca-Cola Racing Family 600 on Fox is brought to you by Team Monte Carlo. The cars more champions depend on. Chevy will be there. By Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar. Eating good in the neighborhood. Applebee's. By the Home Depot. NASCAR's Home Improvement Warehouse. And by Miller Lite. Life is best told at a place called Miller Time.
The countdown has begun. We're just 6 days away from the return of Major League Baseball on Fox. Tune in Saturday to see one of baseball's greatest rivalries renewed as Nomar Garciaparra and the Red Sox take on Jason Giambi and the Yankees, or the defending world champion Diamondbacks up against the Dodgers, plus other regional action. It all begins this Saturday, 12:30 Eastern and Pacific, right here on Fox. Under a caution, Jimmy Johnson still your leader, about 125 laps to go. Sitting 5th, Sterling Marlin, our points leader, part of the older crowd in this. And Jeff Gordon, who's yet to win this year, is sitting 8th.
Well, again, I kind of look at it like this here, Chris. You've got our point leader, Sterling Marlin, who started back in 35th. He knew he had to run 600 miles here tonight and has quietly got himself in a very solid position to make a run at these guys. And a man who knows how to win this race, Jeff Gordon, he says keeps hanging in there and keeping it close to his teammate, Jimmy Johnson.
And Dale Jarrett, the 88 car sitting at 11th, has hung in there. Let's check in with Todd Parrott. Matt Yoakum is standing by with him. Dick Bergman has been there. Dick?
Well, Dale Jarrett's car wasn't very good when they unloaded it here. It wasn't very good during practice. It wasn't very good when this race started. But it's pretty darn good right now, running at 11th spot. Todd Parrott, the crew chief. How much have you done to that race car to get it this good?
Well, we've made about 5 spring rubber changes and a little air pressure all over the place, and about 6 or 7 rounds of bike in, out. Every time there's been a caution, we've pitted, you know, starting in the back like we did, we'd have nothing to lose. 10 or 12 lap runs, we come in and adjust it on the car every time, and we've gotten it better. It's not like it needs to be, but, you know, who knows? You know, the driver may have a little bit left in him. The car, we keep adjusting, one more pit stop. Who knows? We'll have to get this thing in the top 5.
And that's the advantage of a long race. They can adjust all night long, Mike Joy.
Thanks, Dick. We've been racing for 3 hours and 11 minutes. We still have 124 laps, 188 miles to go, with rookie Jimmy Johnson, who has clinched the bonus for leading the most laps tonight, out front.
One thing about the caution flags, Larry, the way they've fallen tonight, they've fallen where guys can get in and work on their cars without going a lap down. Jarrett was close to going a lap down there several times early in the race, but he's come in and got that car better and better. There's several guys in that same boat. Now they're in contention.
Your car's not good. It's going to be a great race. All right, let's look at the Fox track now. The pace car brings them down at 55 miles per hour. Pace car's off there. Watch how fast Jimmy Johnson. He's been great on restarts tonight. Still around 55 miles an hour. Green flag's out. Look how fast it's accelerating right there. 100 miles an hour, well over 100 miles an hour before they even get to the start-finish line. And right here, Darrell, through 1 and 2, they almost will run wide open because they're not quite up to speed right here. 157 miles an hour still climbing off the corner.
And you see how he can just pull away so quickly from everybody else. It's just an incredibly good handling car, particularly on brand new tires.
And he gets such great restarts. Already pulled out to about 5 or 6 car lengths over Matt Kenseth.
And boy, that just makes you feel so good when you've got a little cushion between you and everybody behind you.
Dave Blaney tried to get back on the lead lap, was not successful. Mark Martin has moved to 2nd, Kenseth 3rd, Rudd 4th, Marlin 5th.
That's the other good thing about good restarts. You don't have to race that lap car down in the corner, so it's just a little insurance. You get out front, cut to the inside, check out. Adios, amigos.
It's full nightfall now as the field cycles by under the lights blaring. How is this racetrack different from when we started?
Well, it has much more grip. The speeds will get faster. The motors like this cooler air. They're going to make more power. And if your car was loose, it wasn't gripping the rear tires earlier in the day, now it will start to tighten up. And if you were tightening your car up on pit stops, you'll actually have to start freeing it up now. I mean, just look at the temperature right here. Yeah, the air temperature has not dropped that much, but look at the track temperature. Over 30 degrees difference, a lot more grip, making more power.
Darrell, how does this place look different to the driver from daytime?
I want to tell you, that's what happens to the driver. Now, it's okay now. We are under full lights. But when it went through that transition, the track takes on a whole different perspective for a short period of time until we get the lights up full like this. Jeff.
Guys, you're sitting there talking about how the racetrack is getting faster. Just look a second ago, Jimmie Johnson ran the fastest lap of his race tonight at lap 280. So it just shows the racetrack's cooling down. Everything you said is coming to pass right now. And these cars are going to go faster and faster the later we get in the race.
Well, Jeff, 4 of our top 5 guys, Jimmie Johnson, Mark Martin, Ricky Rudd, Kurt Busch, they all just ran the fastest lap. They're down in the mid-30 seconds. It wasn't that long ago. All you could run was in the mid-31s, a second faster.
And that's all because of the racetrack. You think of it like this. The drivers aren't fresher, and neither are the cars, so the conditions have got to be helping this come about.
Well, and the adjustments that have been made on the cars all through the early going has got the cars where they need to be now at the end of the night. That's what you want. And the thing you got to be careful of, those guys, this race isn't over yet. We still got over 100 miles to go. You got to nurse that thing just a little wee bit.
Matt Kenseth, our third-place car, he just ran his quickest lap, 30:51 here on lap 281.
Boy, look at this pack right here. Look at Stewart and Gordon.
Stewart and Gordon are going at each other, I'll tell you.
Somebody forgot to tell these guys it's a 600-mile race. It's not 500 miles.
Well, Jimmie Johnson's the problem. Jimmie Johnson is already, look how far out in front that cat is. So these guys have got to go.
Left side of your screen, there's Johnson.
Way up here. Look at him, way up here by himself.
Almost 2 seconds out.
And that's just in 3 laps.
There you have teammates. Mark Martin in the 6, Matt Kenseth in the 17. Mark Martin, he has 1,000,000 reasons to win this race. That Winston Noble $5 million bonus for winning, plus $1 million for a fan.
18 cars on the lead lap. 9 of them have just turned their fastest lap of the race. So let's run down whose car is the best it's been all night right now. The front 5, Johnson, Martin, Kenseth, Rudd, and Busch. Michael Waltrip, Jeff Gordon, Dale Jarrett, Rusty Wallace as the pass occurs for second place. Kenseth taking second. Those cars just ran their fastest lap of the night in this segment.
And now you're going to get a chance, folks, at home to see what we talk about. We talk about this track being rough. Watch these cars occasionally down in turn 1 particularly. Sparks fly out from under them. That's what we talk about, let the rough side drag. That's what these guys are starting to do. We're winding this thing down. It's time to get up on the wheel.
And what's happening, they're running faster, entering the corner faster, traveling more. That's why they start bottoming out more.
This is getting real close to the time to stop working your mouth and start working your hands.
Excuse me. Kurt Busch just took 4th from Ricky Rudd. So Busch, who has come from the back to the front twice tonight already, is on that march once again. He's now 3.1 seconds off the lead.
There were some of those sparks. You'll see that as more and more cars will start to do that as the evening gets, if we get into nighttime.
You'll even see them bounce around and almost spark here at the end of the backstretch. That's where the tunnel is. That's probably about the roughest place of the racetrack where the cars go in and out of the infield going into 3.
And again, Larry, like you said, the speeds are faster. There's more grip. And so that car goes in there and it sinks more than it has all night long.
Jack Roush has 4 cars in this race. Jeff Burton behind the wall. But the other Roush cars are running right there, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
And that's been pretty common a lot this year, contrary to a year ago.
And Ricky Rudd is right there as well.
The new Iron Man, most consecutive starts.
The big question on Ricky Rudd, how long will he race? There are rumors of retirement. Rudd says he's done with multi-year contracts. He wants to take it 1 season at a time. He says he'll run as long as he feels he can be competitive. The way he's running right now, I'd bet on him, another 5 or 10 years.
Yeah, he may run that Ironman record way on out there. I'd run that paint job way on out there. I know that because that's working good tonight.
But he's had a good car all night long, but fell way back about the middle part of the race. They had a bad pit stop. They had a problem with the right front, but he's fought his way back to the top 5 now.
That's boilerplate all over the side of that thing that looks pretty neat. Put a little flame job on there. Look, up on that hood, back on those gray fenders. That looked really nice.
Rudd is in 5th. A Let's go back to the 9th place car. That would be Tony Stewart back there just ahead of Jeff Gordon. Here's Steve Burns.
Well, Mike, Tony Stewart's been in the top 10 all night, and he is Exhibit A for guys who have been struggling all night. Early in the race, he was loose. They pulled spring rubbers out. Then it got to the point where they were inconsistent. He said he'd be loose one lap, tight the next. Now he's just fighting tight. So he's been struggling all night to stay inside the top 10.
Larry, you said earlier this weekend, this race would go to the car and the team with the best adjustability as Gordon passes Stewart for 9th, the team that could best adapt.
I mean, that's the thing, because we've talked about it a lot tonight. This racetrack goes through a lot of transitions, but 2 major transitions. From when it started to when the sun went down, and now that it's completely dark. And you have to make sometimes major adjustments, and those spring rubbers are major adjustments.
Jimmy Johnson has led 199 laps tonight. In 1967, Jim Pascal led 335 laps to win the 600. 104 laps left to go. 160 miles left to race. Jimmy Johnson continues to lead here. He's led 207 of the 297 laps. And he has almost 3 seconds on Matt Kenseth and Kurt Busch.
Now is when you really start to feel the distance, how long this race really is. These guys have been running pretty hard all night long, particularly Jimmy Johnson. Some of the guys at the front start to get a little arm weary, start to get a little bit tired. Neck starts hurting just a little bit. Back gets a little kink in it. And you start asking, how much further is it? How much further we got to go?
And what kind of mistakes do you start making when that happens as Kurt Busch pulls down on 2nd place Matt Kenseth?
Well, anytime you lose your focus, anytime you start thinking about things inside the car instead of things outside the car, you're going to get in trouble.
Kurt Busch, again, he's come from the back twice, had to start back there at the beginning of the race because of an engine change, and had a caution, brought a caution out, lap 10, spun out, stayed on the lead lap, and he's fighting his teammate, Matt Kenseth, for 2nd. But, Darrell, I know as a crew chief, the last 100 laps here, we won this thing in 1991 with Davey Allison, things kind of get quiet on the radio, and I'm sitting there as a crew chief just wondering when he's going to come on the radio and say, boys, she just blew up.
Normally when it gets quiet, though, that's when the driver, he's showing that he's tired because he doesn't want to talk, he doesn't want to take the time and take the energy to send a message to you. So when I get quiet on the radio, I think Jeff would tell you that meant I was probably getting kind of tired, and he needed to get on there and pump me up and say, hey, driver, you ain't falling out of the seat, are you?
You're exactly right, and that's what you got to do at this point of the race. You got to realize that as a crew chief, and I think that's one reason why you and I were pretty successful. I kept to have a feel for that as we see Sterling Marlin trying to make a move on Jeff Gordon. You've got to get in there with the driver, let him know he's not by himself, encourage him a little bit, be that cheerleader, because this last 100 miles is so important to not only you, but to him to know he's got friends out there caring about it.
And Jeff, another group we have to pump up. We know they've already made about 8 or 9 pit stops tonight. They're getting tired, that pit crew, and you have to pump them up. It has that green flag look. We know we all have to make one more stop. This is the stop that can make the most important move right here. No mistakes.
Yeah, and the thing about the driver, you can tell in a driver's voice. If you're a crew chief and a driver that worked together for a long time, you can tell so much about the car, the conditions, how the driver's doing just by listening to his voice, because you've heard it time and time again.
And as we talked about earlier, those caution flags just a while back were probably kind of like a breath of fresh air for everybody. Gave them a chance to kind of collect their thoughts, take their deep breaths, and get everything kind of wound up. As we see the crew right there loosen up a little bit. Hey, everybody's starting to tighten up here a little bit, trying to get refocused and beat the kinks out.
Now, I've used to see Hammond do that to his head, but I never saw a guy do it to his back.
The hammer's not big enough, Harold.
Jimmy Johnson leading the race. His mentor and co-car owner, Jeff Gordon, has climbed up to 8th spot, Matt.
Mike, he has quietly moved up that scoring pylon. And Robbie Loomis, what do you